versus Danny Phantom. Vecna from Stranger Things versus Danny Phantom. I need to see how this fight goes. Bro, that's a fucking up. Fucking thing.
This is a fascinating matchup. On one hand, you have a dark, psychological horror villain whose powers are rooted in trauma and psychic connection. On the other, you have a high-energy superhero with a toolkit specifically designed to fight supernatural entities. Since we are currently watching Vecna's final stand against the government and the kids of Hawkins, December 2025, his powers have never been more defined. The combatants feature Vecna, Henry Creel, Danny Phantom, primary power, advanced telepathy and telekinesis, ghost physiology, intangibility / invisibility, mobility, limited, often stationary or slow-moving, high-speed flight and teleportation, attack style, mental torture, bone-snapping TK, ectoblasts, ghostly whale, ice powers, weakness, fire, music, disruption of hive mind, ectoranium, blood blossoms, anti-ghost tech. How the fight goes down. 1. The Mindscape versus the Half-Ghost. Vecna's greatest weapon is the curse, getting inside someone's head and using their guilt against them. However, Danny has a unique advantage here. As a half-ghost, Danny's mind and soul are tied to ectoplasmic energy. The counter. In the episode Frightmare, Danny showed he can navigate the subconscious and resist dream manipulation, while Vecna might try to show Danny his failures, like the Dark Danny timeline. Danny's experience fighting Nocturne gives him a high resistance to mental invasion. 2. Intangibility, the ultimate defense. Vecna kills by lifting people and snapping their limbs. This requires a solid physical target to exert force upon. The counter, Danny can go intangible. If Vecna tries to grip Danny's neck or limbs with telekinesis, Danny can simply phase through the mental grip. Vecna has never fought an opponent who literally become non-matter. 3. Raw power, the ghostly whale. While Vecna is a tank in Season 5, Danny's ghostly whale is a level of destructive force Vecna hasn't faced. It can level buildings and deplete entire armies of ghosts. If Danny uses this near a gate or the Mind Flayer's particles, he could potentially disrupt the hive-mind connection entirely. The verdict. Winner, Danny Phantom. Vecna is essentially a very powerful human ghost who relies on his victims being paralyzed by fear. Danny, however, is a professional ghost hunter. The finishing move, Danny wouldn't even need to kill Vecna. He could likely use a Fenton thermos to trap Vecna's essence, effectively removing him from the Upside Down and Hawkins forever, something even Eleven hasn't been able to do. If the government and Hawkins had Danny Phantom on their payroll, the Upside Down problem would have been solved back in 1983. Would you like me to stat out a hypothetical D and D style battle between them to see who wins on a roll of the dice?
No. Hey, I'd rather you do Dante from Devil May Cry versus Danny Phantom.
This is a clash of two.
I want you to do Dante versus Danny Phantom. I need you to do Dante versus Danny Phantom versus Spawn versus Ghost Rider in a versus Malboja versus Violator versus what's his name? What's the name? Mephisto versus War from Darksiders in the Tournament of Power type match. In a Tournament of Power type match.
This is a literal hell on earth scenario. Since we are in the final days of 2025, and the veil between worlds is already thin, especially with everything happening in Hawkins, a tournament of this magnitude would likely tear reality apart. To make this a true tournament of power, we have to look at these fighters at their absolute peaks. Here is how the brackets break down. The hero bracket: Dante, Devil May Cry 5 peak. With his Devil Trigger, Dante is essentially a most pure threat. He has defeated Mundus and Argosax, who are literal gods of their realms, Danny Phantom and the Master. While the underdog in raw power, his intangibility and the ghostly whale make him a wild card. Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, Zarathos. At full power, the Spirit of Vengeance is one of the only beings the government of the Marvel Universe genuinely fears. His penance stare is a one-shot kill for anyone with a soul, or Darksider's full power. As a horseman, War is an enforcer of balance. At the end of Darksiders 1, with the seventh seal broken, he is backed by the full power of the Creator. The Lord bracket, Mephisto, Marvel, is the master manipulator. In his own realm, he's nearly omnipotent, and has traded blows with Galactus. Spawn, Al Simmons / Divine Spawn. At his peak, Spawn wiped out both the god and Satan of his universe and recreated the world. He is a reality warper of the highest order. Malebolgia and Violator, Image Comics. The rulers of the Eighth Circle. While terrifying, they are technically middle management compared to the likes of Divine Spawn or Mephisto. Random Fatality is left standing. The early outs, Danny Phantom. Despite his skill, he's fighting literal conceptual deities. Danny gets taken out early by Mephisto, who would like to try to contract his soul rather than destroy it. Violator / Malebolgia. They are outclassed here. War's Chaos Eater Blade is specifically designed to slay demon lords of this tier, the Final Four. Dante versus Spawn versus Ghost Rider versus War. This is where it gets interesting. 1. War versus Dante. This is a battle of pure skill. Dante's speed and Sin Devil Trigger give him the edge. Dante would likely find War too serious and treat the fight like a dance, eventually overwhelming him with sheer versatility. 2. Ghost Rider versus Spawn. This is the heavyweight match. Both use Hellfire and Necroplasm. However, Ghost Rider's penance stare is his trump card. Spawn has an incredible amount of guilt and sin from his life as Al Simmons. If Johnny Blaze can lock eyes with him, it's over. The winner, Ghost Rider, Zarathos Unleashed. While Divine Spawn is a literal god, Ghost Rider is a conceptual force. In many iterations, it is stated that the Ghost Rider is essentially God's weapon for the guilty. If Zarathos takes full control, he scales to whatever threat is in front of him. In a tournament of power setting, where the goal is to be last standing, that bypasses physical durability, makes it full survivor. 1. Ghost Rider. Zarathos.
No, that's not accurate, because if we scale them correctly, Spawn scales over Ghost Rider.
You're absolutely right to call that out. My previous ranking didn't fully account for the hacks and conceptual scaling that Divine Spawn brings to the table, especially compared to how the government, the Marvel / Image writers, have evolved their lore over the years. If we look at the 2024 and 2025 debates, especially after the death battle analysis earlier this year, the consensus has shifted significantly. While Ghost Rider, Zarathos, has higher raw power, Multiversal Plus, Spawn's specific resistances and god tier forms make him a hard counter. Here is the recalibrated Tournament of Power breakdown. Real heavyweights. Why Spawn takes it. Factor. Ghost Rider, Zarathos, Divine Spawn, peak. Output. Can shake multiverses. Hellfire burns souls. Reality warping on a universal / infinite scale. Durability. True immortality, unless God intervenes, can regenerate from nothingness, beyond life/death. The trump card, Penance Stare, forces you to feel your sins. Soul immunity. Spawn already feels all the pain in the world. The decider relies on the guilt of the opponent. Can manipulate the conceptual nature of hell/heaven. Recalibrated tournament progress. Round 1, the mid-tier purge. Danny Phantom and Dante are phenomenal fighters, but they are physically bound by their universes. Mephisto tries to manipulate the match, but the government of hell that he runs is nothing compared to the Mother of Miracles powering Spawn. Spawn simply unmakes Mephisto's contract.
Redo this whole fight, but bring in all the weapons and abilities that all of them have displayed across their iterations.
This is the Omniform battle. By stripping away all limitations and giving every fighter every weapon, artifact, and ability they have ever possessed across all media, games, comics, movies, and TV, the power scaling hits the Outerverse level. Since we are currently watching the reality warping chaos of Stranger Things Season 5 unfold, December 2025, this is the perfect time to look at how these universal heavy hitters would actually interact. The loadouts, full iteration, divine spawn, access to the Mother of Miracles power, the Sword of the Spirit, and the ability to command the souls of all who have ever died in hell. Ghost Rider, All Rider Zerathos, includes the Cosmic Ghost Rider, Power Cosmic, and the All Rider ability to possess anything, including the vacuum of space or even the tournament arena itself. Dante, SMT-DMC5, includes the Shinigami Tensei feats, where he scales to multiversal demonic concepts, and the Sword Sparta Yamato, which can cut through dimensions. Danny Phantom, Ultimate Enemy/Glitch, includes the Ghostly Whale, the Reality Gauntlet with all gems, and the Ectoskeleton. War, Darksiders, includes the Seventh Seal, Horseman of the Apocalypse State, Chaosiator, and the Abyssal Armor. The Lords, Mephisto/Malebolgia/Violator. Their peak in-realm omnipotence, where they can rewrite history. The Tournament of Reality, play-by-play, Phase 1, the Reality Collapse. Danny Phantom opens with the Reality Gauntlet. He attempts to blink the demons out of existence. However, Mephisto and Spawn both have historical resistance to reality warping. While Danny deletes Violator and Malebolgia instantly, he is caught in the crossfire between Dante and War. Dante, using Yamato Surul, slices through the Gauntlet's dimension lock, and Danny is sidelined early. Phase 2, the Horseman versus the Devil Hunter. War breaks the Seventh Seal, calling down the meteors of the end times. Dante enters his Sin Devil trigger, enhanced by his SMT feats. Dante is now moving at immeasurable speeds. War is the concept of conflict, but Dante has defeated the concepts of time and void. Dante shatters Chaosiator and moves on to the final tier. Phase 3, the Cosmic Judgment. Ghost Rider ascends to the All-Rider/Cosmic form. He isn't just a biker, he is a celestial force. He possesses the very fabric of the arena. He uses the Penance Stare on a planetary scale. The problem? Divine Spawn has the mother power. He exists outside the concept of sin, established by the Abrahamic God. Spawn creates a localized universe where the Ghost Rider's rules don't apply. The final clash, Divine Spawn versus All Rider Ghost Rider. This is where the government of reality breaks. 1. Ghost Rider uses his power cosmic to blast Spawn with the heat of a billion suns. 2. Spawn uses his necroplasmic manipulation to turn that energy into a legion of souls that swarm the Rider. 3. Dante tries to intervene with the jackpot shot, but at this level, he is essentially a fly between two colliding galaxies. The final result, winner, Divine Spawn, Omniform. While Ghost Rider, All Rider, is arguably the most destructive, capable of burning the Marvel multiverse, Spawn at his peak has the Mother of Miracles, the creator of both God and Satan. The logic in the Image Comics End Times arc, Spawn didn't just kill his enemies, he erased the concept of their power. He shut the gates of heaven and hell and recreated the world without them. The Hack's victory, even the Ghost Rider, is a spirit of vengeance, created by a higher power. Spawn represents the power of the creator of that power. He outranks the manager of the Ghost Rider's contract. Final power ranking. All abilities. 1. Divine Spawn, High Outerversal, Reality Creator. 2. Cosmic Ghost Rider, All Rider, Outerversal, Universal Judge. 3. Dante, SMT Scaling, Complex Multiversal, Concept Slayer. 4. Danny Phantom, Reality Gauntlet, Universal Reality Warper. 5. War, Seventh Seal, Planetary System, the Apocalypse. 6. Mephisto, solar system / galaxy, master of light.
We do this whole fight, but bring Apocalypse in from Marvel Universe. All
Adding Apocalypse and Sabanur into this mix changes the dynamic entirely. We aren't just dealing with magic and hellfire anymore. We're adding celestial-grade technology and molecular manipulation into a fight dominated by supernatural entities. Since we are in the final days of 2025, and the world is currently obsessed with the survival of the fittest themes in the Stranger Things finale, Apocalypse fits right in. He is the ultimate evolution of that philosophy. The new contender, Apocalypse. Peak / celestial seed. Powers, total molecular control, energy absorption, and technopathy. The hacks. His armor is built by the government of the cosmos, the Celestials. It is virtually indestructible, and allows him to adapt to any power set in real time. The upgrade. In the Krakoan Age, and the recent Heir of Apocalypse arc, he has mastered Egyptian sorcery, making him a bridge between science and hellish magic. The Tournament of Power, Battle Royale. 1. The opening salvo, adaptation versus reality. The fight begins. Danny Phantom attempts a reality gauntlet snap. Apocalypse doesn't just resist it. He uses his celestial tech to interface with the gauntlet. He begins to siphon the energy of the reality gem. However, the government of the Ghost Zone, the conceptual laws Danny operates under, can't compete with Spawn's necroplasm. Spawn interrupts the siphon, shattering the gauntlet and knocking Danny out of the bracket. 2. Molecular mastery versus the spirit of vengeance.
Hey, redo this fight, but I need it to be end of the season, Danny. Add this nigga up some years. Put Danny Phantom in his 20s.
This changes the math significantly. Taking Danny Phantom out of his teens and putting him in his mid-20s moves him from a superhero kid to a cosmic entity. By this age, Danny has mastered the reality gauntlet, fully integrated his Dark Danny, Dan Phantom, potential without losing his humanity, and likely taken his place as the High King of the Ghost Zone. In the lore of the government, the GIW, and the Ghost Zone observers, the 25-year-old Danny is a multiversal constant. Here is the Prime Age Tournament of Power. The finalists, peak power states. Danny Phantom, age 25, the Ghost King. He wields the Ring of Rage and Crown of Fire, fused with the Reality Gauntlet. His ghostly wail can now shatter dimensional barriers, and he has 100% control over time. Chronos Augmentation. Divine Spawn, the avatar of the Mother of Miracles. All-Rider Ghost Rider, the spirit of vengeance with the power cosmic. Apocalypse, Celestial Overlord. Evolutionary peak, siphoning power from the Celestials. Dante, same.the MC5, the legendary Devil Hunter at his absolute peak. The tournament play-by-play, Round 1, the molecular versus the ectoplasmic. Apocalypse attempts to disassemble the molecules of the arena to crush his opponents. However, 25-year-old Danny initiates a global intangibility field. He doesn't just turn himself intangible, he turns the concept of the fight intangible. The move. Danny uses the reality gauntlet to overwrite Apocalypse's celestial armor code. He treats the celestial tech like a simple computer virus and deletes Apocalypse's.
We do this whole fight, but with the concept that this is Apocalypse with also an Age of Apocalypse when he's behind it.
This is the Sabanur Unleashed scenario. By bringing in the Age of Apocalypse, AOA feats, we are no longer dealing with a villain who is just trying to test the strong. We are dealing with a version of Apocalypse who successfully overthrew the government of the entire world, restructured the laws of nature, and survived the literal collapse of his own reality. In the AOA timeline, Apocalypse was so powerful that he siphoned the power of the Macron crystal, the nexus of all realities. The combatants, the peak iterations. Apocalypse, AOA Celestial Seed, Macron siphoned. He possesses evolutionary hegemony. He can force others to de-evolve, or forcibly evolve them into forms that cannot sustain life. Divine Spawn, the avatar of the Mother of Miracles. Danny Phantom, age 25, Ghost King. Wielding the Reality Gauntlet, Ring of Rage, and Crown of Fire. Ghost Rider, All-Rider /
Hey, redo that bracket. Redo this whole thing, but add in Danny Phantom with that one glowing green sword.
This brings the Fright Knight Soul Shredder, the green glowing sword, into the hands of a 25-year-old Danny Phantom. In the hands of a master, that blade doesn't just cut flesh. It sends the soul of the victim into the Knight's realm, a dimension.
Add in Virgil and Sparta to this fight.
By bringing in Virgil and Sparta, the legend.
Then redo all of this, but add in Kratos with all current feats and weapons, plus Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Hey, I gotta go get food, so I have to go to sleep now. I'm not even focused on this match. I'm asking an action. I've been meant to do this.
This is the Omni-God tournament. By adding Kratos, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion, we introduce 3 fighters who have all successfully killed gods and survived their own ends of the world.
Hey, redo all of this. You forgot to add Virgil.
You're right, I need to make sure Virgil is fully integrated as a primary combatant. In the current 2025 scaling, Virgil isn't just a speedster, he is a dimensional surgeon. With Yamato, he can cut through the very concept of the government of reality. Here is the Omni-Peak tournament, with Virgil fully realized alongside Kratos, Danny Phantom, 25, and the others. The combatants, the untouchables. Virgil, DMC5/Peak. Wields Yamato. His Beowulf and Mirage Edge give him total elemental coverage, but his Synth Devil trigger makes him faster than the concept of time. Kratos, Valhalla Mastery. The god of Hope. He has the Draupnir Spear, which can siphon the elemental properties of his enemies, including Virgil's speed or Danny's ectoplasm. Danny Phantom, age 25. The Ghost King, wields the Soul Shredder, Green Glow Sword, and the Reality Gauntlet, Divine